I think Judge Gorsuch...
Ideas that we talk about.
This year's midterms are shaping up to be the most expensive in history. Why? Some of it's because of rich donors. Like this one. This is Marcy, and she's a billionaire with a cause. Let's say she wants more bike lanes everywhere, and she's ready to spend $5 million to support politicians who agree with her. Marcy has a lot of options for how to spend that money. We're going to help her understand them. Her first option is the simplest. She could give money directly to a candidate who supports bike lanes. That contribution is limited to $2,700 per election, or double that if the candidate runs in the primary and general election. For Marcy, this contribution is just the tip of the iceberg. Marcy's second option is leadership PACs. Many congresspeople, think Paul Ryan, Nancy Pelosi, have established leadership PACs. These are pools of money that operate outside of a candidate's campaign. When leadership PACs were approved in the late 70s, the idea was that congresspeople could use the funds to network and gain favor. But the lines have blurred, and now that money is typically used for travel and things that, quote, raise a politician's profile. Marcy can give $5,000 per year to each leadership PAC for candidates that support bike lanes. Let's say there are 10 such candidates. That's $50,000. But Marcy wants to give a lot more than that. So next, she picks the party that supports bike lanes and gives money to each of their national party accounts. These accounts can't give money directly to candidates, but they can coordinate with them on how the money is spent. Each party has three: the overall national committee, the one focused on the House, and the one on the Senate. But that's not all. In December 2014, Congress passed a bill allowing more money to come in through three add-on accounts: headquarters, election recounts, and conventions. Marcy can give this much per year to each of these accounts, and this much to each of these. Over a 2-year cycle, that adds up to over $2 million. That's more like it. But Marcy still has a lot of money left to give, so she's taking a look at super PACs. This is where things get wild. Donors like Marcy, as well as corporations and unions, have no limit to the amount of money they can give to super PACs that support a candidate. This option was introduced in 2010, with federal and Supreme Court rulings such as Citizens United and a series of advisory opinions by the Federal Election Commission. And ever since, a huge bulk of political donations now run through PACs with names like Progress Tomorrow and Principles Project. So, what's the big deal? Super PACs are not supposed to donate directly to candidates, or even coordinate on spending. But each cycle, candidates and super PACs push the red line a little further out. Even with all these benefits, Marcy's not going to give money to a super PAC. That's because donating millions to a super PAC is public record, and Marcy's feeling a little shy about her last few million. Which leads us to Marcy's final option: donating to a nonprofit. Marcy's giving the rest of her $5 million to Bike Lanes for America, a made-up nonprofit that allows her to donate unlimited money to influence her cause and keep her identity secret. In turn, Bike Lanes for America can use Marcy's money to try and influence elections, usually through attack ads. The catch is that these groups must spend at least 50% on something other than politics. But these numbers aren't heavily monitored, and skeptics question whether some nonprofits are following this rule. So now that Marcy's spent all of her money, what's next? What's next is that all these different organizations figure out how to spend the money Marcy gave them. And for everybody who's not a Marcy, we just get to see more of this.